Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and give this video a like up. Former WWE champion Triple H recently took to social media to send a message following a hilarious botched pedigree. The Game is currently the chief content officer of the Stanford-based promotion. Before taking up backstage duties in World Wrestling Entertainment, Triple H was one of the most popular stars in the company. He wrestled till 2019 and won several titles, including 14 World Championships. However, in recent years, the King of Kings has changed the landscape of sports entertainment as WWE's CEO. Almost all of the company's biggest shows have been selling out, and pro wrestling has become more popular than ever before. The Stanford-based promotion's popularity was reflected during the Philadelphia Eagles' recent football match against the Green Bay Packers, which ended in the Eagles' favor. During the celebrations, Quinyon Mitchell attempted to hit Triple H's pedigree on Cooper DeJean. However, DeJean's selling was questionable as he went to the ground before his teammate could perform the move. A clip of this botched pedigree went viral on social media, and it recently caught the Game's attention. In his post, the cerebral assassin jokingly reacted to the botch by highlighting WWE's "Don't try this at home" statement, before congratulating Quinyon Mitchell and the Eagles on their win. The cerebral assassin confronted Kevin Owens after he attacked Cody Rhodes during Saturday night's main event in December 2024. During an edition of the Steedy Richards Show, the former WWE star discussed the Game's involvement in KO and Rhodes' story. Richards said that the King of Kings was too involved in the current storylines on television, which he believed harmed the product. It remains to be seen what the Stanford-based promotion has planned for the product in 2025. The lights dimmed and the familiar sound of the Game's entrance theme reverberated through the arena. Fans erupted in excitement, chanting his name as the iconic figure of Triple H made his way to the ring. But this time, there was a different atmosphere. It wasn't the usual cocky confidence, the swaggering step, or the poised facial expression that characterized the veteran. There was something deeper in his eyes, a quiet reflection. And his message wasn't just for the fans in the arena. It was for the world to hear. It had all started earlier in the night, during an intensely anticipated match against a rising star in WWE. Triple H, having spent decades perfecting his craft, was expected to deliver his signature move, the pedigree, with flawless precision. But as fate would have it, the move didn't go according to plan. In a split-second miscalculation, the pedigree was botched. The crowd went silent as both competitors crashed to the mat in an awkward, uncomfortable heap. The image was a stark contrast to the smooth, surgical execution of one of the most celebrated finishers in professional wrestling history. It was raw, it was unpolished, and it left a lingering question hanging in the air. What was next for Triple H? Later, as the match concluded and he made his way back to the locker room, Triple H sat down, reflecting on the moment. The aftermath wasn't just about the botch itself. It was about what the botch represented. For a man who had always prided himself on his perfectionism, this mistake was an uncomfortable reminder of his own vulnerability. The legend of Triple H had been built on overcoming every obstacle, learning from every mistake, and elevating every challenge. As the world outside speculated on whether the botched pedigree was a sign of Triple H's decline, the man himself took a few days to process what had happened. His personal reflection would give way to something far more profound than just a backstage apology. It would be a message to everyone, not just to his fans or the WWE universe, but to anyone who ever struggled with failure or imperfection. The following week, the wrestling world waited in anticipation. News had spread that Triple H was set to speak on the botched pedigree incident. The arena was packed with fans buzzing about what could be the most honest, raw moment in recent memory. When the lights dimmed and his entrance music began, a hush fell over the crowd. But this time, there was a difference. It wasn't just a man walking down the aisle. It was someone with a message to deliver. Triple H stepped into the ring, not with his usual bravado, but with a sense of quiet authority. The crowd began to cheer, but he raised a hand, signaling for them to settle down. He looked out at the sea of fans, his expression more serious than ever before. He was ready to speak. Last week, Something happened that I wish hadn't, he began, his voice steady, but with an undertone of raw emotion. Something that, for me, represented a lot more than just a move gone wrong. You all saw it. The pedigree. I've hit that move thousands of times. Hell, I've made it my own. Made it one of the most iconic finishers in this business. But last week, in that moment, it didn't go the way I planned. I've spent over 25 years in this business, and I've always prided myself on perfection. He continued, pacing slightly as he spoke. I've been in the ring with the best, and I've always pushed myself to be the best. But here's the thing about being the best, you can't be the best if you're afraid to fail. The crowd started to pick up on his tone, sensing where he was going. See, that pedigree? It wasn't just a botch. It wasn't just a mistake, it was a reminder. A reminder that no matter how much you train, no matter how many times you've done it before, things don't always go the way you want them to. And you know what? That's okay. The fans were quiet now, hanging on every word. Perfection is an illusion. We chase it, we strive for it. But in the end, we're all human. We all make mistakes. And that includes me. I'm not immune to failure. I'm not immune to botching a move or making a mistake that costs me. But what separates the ones who stay down and the ones who rise back up is what we do after that mistake. What we do when we hit the mat, look up, and know that we're not finished. He paused, letting the weight of his words sink in. So to all of you who saw me mess up, I want to say something. I'm not perfect. I don't need to be. But I'll always get back up. And I'll always push forward, because that's the only thing I can control. He looked into the camera, as if addressing every fan watching at home. And to anyone who's ever made a mistake, ever felt like they weren't good enough, or ever thought that one failure would define them, don't let it. Get back up. Keep going. Because if there's one thing I've learned in this business, it's that the story doesn't end after one bad chapter. You write your own story. You decide how it ends. The crowd erupted into applause, and Triple Ace's stern expression softened slightly. There was a sense of calm now, an unspoken understanding between him and the audience. The message was clear. Perfection isn't the goal, resilience is. As the days passed and the dust settled, Triple Ace's message reverberated far beyond the wrestling ring. Fans, fellow wrestlers, and people from all walks of life took to social media, praising the honesty and vulnerability he had shown. The botched pedigree had become a symbol, not of failure, but of a new kind of strength, one that embraced imperfection and recognized that setbacks were not the end of the journey, but merely a part of it. In the weeks that followed, Triple H didn't just talk about resilience, he embodied it. He returned to the ring with renewed determination, not to prove anything to anyone, but to continue the journey he had started all those years ago. The botched pedigree had been a bump in the road, yes, but it had also been a turning point. For Triple H, it wasn't about a flawless performance. It was about showing the world that even in the face of failure, you can still rise to the occasion. And that, in the end, was the real message of the pedigree. Not the move itself, but the heart and soul behind it.